Ready for the mosh pit, shaka bra.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to StrangeCast, Player One vs. World's Life is Strange fan podcast. This is episode 129, side A. Thank you for that noise. It's probably going to come through on the podcast, but we're back. Good start, Adam. I'm one of your co-hosts, Adnan and Riaz. My co-host, Adam Evalt, and his beep is here. You're here.
I'm in a bad mood, Adnan. A very bad mood.
Why?
Well, as I mentioned before, my birthday was this past week. And what I asked was a Felion. I asked for Directive 8020. I asked for Insert Coin to drop their merch on my birthday. Did any of that happen? No. No, it did not.
They did reveal Aphelion in the new game showcase, which we'll talk about in our second part. Which is close.
Yes. Yeah. All I did for my birthday was get this tattoo. So, yeah, pain on all sorts of fronts. Pains with needles and pains with no Aphelion, no Directive 8020, no Insert Coin merch. 35 is off to a rough start.
It is off to a rough start, but you could say this is a reunion between me and you, which is where we'll be starting off. So obviously this will be a big episode of a lot of things. We are recording the 10th of January. I'm going to try and turn it over today, which might be a ridiculous speed and efficiency, but we'll see what happens. It does usually take longer, and I don't know how long this episode is going to turn out to be, because it probably will turn out to be a long one. But yeah, before we start as well, if you are new here, please do consider dropping subscribe to the channel, turn notifications, like the video, share with your friends. We're almost at 2,200 subscribers. We're on the verge of tapping on it. So if you can help us get there, that would be amazing. And StrangeCast is available on all podcast services. So check us out on Spotify with the video version. Apple Podcasts, we've got over 50 ratings on Spotify. We've got over 340 followers. So if you can follow us then, rate us, it helps boost our visibility out to other people. And you can check us out. You help support us and you get instant access to your episodes as soon as they become available. On top of that as well, we are on Patreon, so you can support us on Patreon. There are Patreon tiers. My apologies, the first tier hasn't been listed. That's still in the works, and I will get it out. It's just that this has disrupted the schedule, so please bear with me whilst I get that out. And we will introduce the other Patreon incentive in the next episode, because again, this has kind of been a little bit left field. I know people have been asking for StrangeCast. I know one person's commented on Instagram saying, "Where is this emergency StrangeCast?" I'm like, it's been a little bit frantic. I was trying to get Abby on at one point, and again, she's just been too busy. And I was like, right, it's just going to have to wait for this moment. So we are where we are, and Adam's schedule as it is. But we're back with a big deep dive into what's going to happen here. So yeah, this is going to be the first part. Just to start with a PSA, unless I say something where it's like, X person has told me or something, please do not take my words and put them on certain platforms and be like, this is an outright confirmation or whatever else with things. I'm just going to put it out there. Unless I say it explicitly, a lot of it's just my input and just other things. I have said many times on many podcasts, I'm not going to say what I know and what I don't know. I have a lot of sources to protect on those kind of things. And it's simple as that. I don't care about views. I don't care about clicks. I don't give a shit about any of that. That's me being as frank as it can possibly be. Same with Adam as well. Unless it's laced with some kind of thing.
I'm going to say some crazy stuff here, and you can quote me on that. Put it in all sorts of articles.
With underlining things, I'm just saying it as it is. So it's just a PSA. Please just be thingy with it. But I will tell you what and where I know things. And if there's things later down the line, then obviously things can be talked about. But it's just kind of be very explicit with that. Adam, elephant in the room. Should we get into it?
Is my room big enough for an elephant? I mean, it could. Yeah.
It might be.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Yeah.
So Adam, to start with, and just let me run through things before we've broken into sections, so we all kind of get into this as it is. So over the week actually, this emerged on Reddit and other places as well. I think it was in I couldn't find the original source. I think it was in Discords and stuff. Like, basically emerged that the PEGI rating board system has rated Life is Strange Reunion as a game on PlayStation 5. It has got a release date set there, etc. All these other things. There are specific details in there, which we'll come on to in a moment. And you haven't read any of this either. You haven't checked it. I was asking you for your input. So
I'm going in this cold, essentially.
Yeah. So this is one of them.
Play on words.
Oh yeah, yeah. So this is one of them that was listed. This has now been removed, just to kind of give an FYI. So PEGI did rate that, and it's been removed. I'm going to take you to this one, which is the Australian classification, which had a Life is Strange game registered in 2025, December 2025. And if you actually do this as well, which I don't know if it's going to break the link or not. So if you change the URL and it's changed on the page, you put Life is Strange 3 in, it takes you to Life is Strange 1, which was rated in 2015, sorry. So it shows you that. One more thing, Adam, as well. Look at that. Do you want me to ask about Bandai Namco in Deck 9?
Oh,
Look who was the applicant for the Australian version.
that's
So
wild. What the heck?
in the Life is Strange series, they did have import with certain things. So Double Exposure in Asia was published by Bandai Namco, like they helped with the arm of it. So I was just having a quick let you nosy on details. So they did actually have an import with it. So it's not just Square. It has Bandai Namco did have certain parts in that. So that's just a little thing that you can notice that, which I picked out. So if you go back to 4, there's Life is Strange, which is a kind of a bit of a detail of that. So yeah, as you can see there, the classification date was rated at 25th December 2025 in Australia. Year of production was 2025 listed, with tons of little variables as well. Square Enix has been listed there. Production companies not specified, etc. And then that one's still live, by the way. This one was also listed, which is Games Rating Authority, which has now gone. Thank you for that. This is getting better, this software, but they just knocked that off there. So Games Rating Authority, as you can see here, has posted. And are we on screen? Yep, we are on screen. There you go. So there's Life is Strange Reunion listed. Again, release date's different and changed on that. Details in the game, I'm not going to let you read this yet because I want your immediate reactions just to the idea of that. But this was listed and it was removed as well. And then if you go to this one, which is Gamewijzer, I don't know how to say that, Life is Strange Reunion is listed on here. It's still listed. This has a strong association with PEGI. So they are like very much an entity within there. So if you go over here, which I think is there on their details, it tells you that they have an affiliation with PEGI. Yeah, there. The information is compiled by NINCAM, the organization behind Quasar, whatever it's called, this website, and one of the executive bodies behind the PEGI system. So a lot going on there to start with, and we've broken our structuring because we'll go into each of the sections of the PEGI thing that's going to go on. Adam, immediate reaction, Life is Strange Reunion is the name. What do you make of that?
So I learned about this when one of our friends started a group chat with us and started to say like, oh, it's funny. It's funny how it's called a reunion. I'm like, what? And that's when I Googled it. So I learned about reunion from our little group chat. And I knew this was coming, man. I knew this was coming. It's like if this isn't what Michelle said before, when me and Adnan interviewed Michelle Coe and Luke Bag of Dust, when we interviewed them, and Michelle said the quote that's always going to be on my mind: "Games made by committee." And this is absolutely reunion. Chloe Price, like this is such a games by committee, not games by auteur kind of thing. So when people are just saying like I'm not buying this because it's not Chloe Price, blah blah blah, like I'm not trying to like downplay like fans, but like that's what it sounds like to Square Enix, like blah blah blah, Chloe Price, blah blah blah, Chloe Price. So what did they do? Chloe Price, everybody buy our games, blah blah blah. Like it's a game made by a committee. Just hearing about focus groups and online conjecture and all this stuff, but I don't think I didn't go into detail about it. I just know Chloe Price is in it, or supposedly allegedly Chloe Price is in it, but that to me just says like, well, we want to make money back as a company, so we're just gonna do whatever it takes, just put them in there, no context, boom, Chloe Price.
Yeah. I think I think when you said things, I think like it's funny because you did warn people if they get Chloe back, they're not going to like it. And I think like pivots are one thing, and like for
And
me
this
as well,
is
when
why,
people
like, no mean to interrupt you, but this is exactly why I said you're not gonna like you say you want Chloe Price, but when I said you're not gonna like when Chloe Price comes back, this is exactly why I said you're not gonna like when Chloe Price comes back, because she's gonna come back in a corporate way. She's gonna come back in a way of just like appeasing the fans rather than pleasing the fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, two big differences there as well, and I think that's really indicative of the product and what has been said about Life is Strange Reunion. Like one thing I'll say as well, let me just be very, 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 very clear on this. We can dispute a lot of rumors and a lot of things as well. PEGI system and other organizations, it's as valid as it gets. These systems aren't Wikipedia. They are not IMDb. These are things that are listed very much like, if you look, for example, why do you think the ESRB was born? Have you not seen the stuff that was born in the 90s with Mortal Kombat and stuff? They are heavily brought in because they are regulating products. For example, PEGI is not going to list something which it could, for example, violate whatever country's laws it is in Europe or whatever else of it. They are closely connected with their country's laws. The ESRB system as well. In America, it is going to be held accountable if it sells a product that is underage. We're talking about, like, you know, almost that little rating logo you see in the bottom corner. That is not just a little thing that's there for the sake of it. Every country that has like regulatory bodies have to have them. If they don't comply with laws, you're screwed. And when something like this is listed and then it's removed, you know, it's as clear as it gets. Like in development chains, and I'm talking about years back when I was talking to developers and publishers, there's a massive rigorous process to get these games onto PEGI systems and stuff like that. Like you put them on there and they scrutinize it. If you go on, I posted it and some people started sharing it as well. Like if you look at PEGI's system and requirements, you have to go through a screening process to get your game on there. You've worked with independent developers whilst you're making the music for them. They are trying to get their stuff on Steam and whatnot, and they have to go through a process. It's not just basically it's going to get done like that. You know, you have to go through a process of that. Even with the release date that's listed on there, it can be a placeholder. It can even be the classification date. It can be whatever it is, because even the release date could be we submitted it for classification and now they're doing things that change it, and the ratings can change. And do you want to know one of the most interesting examples I can give here as well with this classification thing? What was some of those iconic things that were from the 90s and 80s horror films that you had the committees getting involved with the executives, with the MPAA ratings? Every time they used to cut things from films, horror movies, to bring down the ratings. So it was like a really extreme Jason Voorhees kill from like Friday the 13th. And they would cut it because the MPAA wouldn't give them the 15 or whatever rating it was. They would take it like to the highest rating thing. So like,
which is why you get a lot, like the unrated or the director's cut. Like that's why on DVDs you get like the unrated version. So like that's exactly why.
Exactly, absolutely. And they did it for a lot of horror films because they were like, why would we make it like a higher rating when we know that we're going to cut people off the markets? Market executives get in and they're like, okay, we need to change that kill because it's too graphic, bring it down. You see it, go watch all the documentary. I remember watching it. It's the first thing that clicked. Where I was like, you can't do that with PEGI and stuff. Like PEGI are going to be rating this game. They need to get classification in place. Like it's not just that.
Who is PEGI, by the way? What's her last name?
Well, depends. Miss PEGI. Oh, Miss Piggy. That's Miss Piggy, not Miss Peggy. Miss Peggy's Peggy sounds like something else. It sounds like something. But like you can't escape that. So let me just say that because I'm just again, when you kind of like at least get involved in certain things, and I don't like saying this, but when you realize how stupid some people are in terms of like the fact that they don't go into the research parts of it. We've only got more into game development side for different reasons, like you've got in with the music side of things, and I've done interviews and stuff, and I've kind of still kept myself at distance because this is not my line of field. I've got other things that I'm thinking. I've left the gaming industry a long time ago, but it does show you the game development behind the scenes. Like, you know, Deck 9 doesn't just make the game, for example, and Square Enix is like, okay, we'll do all the admin stuff now because we need to do it. No, it's a process. You know, you are going constantly through this to get things like checked, re-administered, stuff like that. Like, for example, if you submit the game and you start working on patches and stuff and whatever else of it, you have to give that to PEGI. PEGI needs to see that because they need to know what you're changing with it. You're selling the final product. That'd be like a cigarette company listing 10 cigarettes and then putting 5 more in there and then putting it on the market, and then the screening body doesn't see it. Like, hang on a minute, why are there 15 cigarettes in this 10 cart? And it's like, well, we decided to add some more. It's like, well, we needed to see those more that are being added in there. So just on the start of things, as credible as the leak can get, again on face value, and that as credible as the leak gets, this is
like that. That's why you see a lot of times in these unprecedented times, you're going to see a lot of hands in cookie jars in all sorts of media, not just games, but movies, music, sometimes even books. You're going to see a lot of like hands in the cookie jar because they want to keep it so safe, you know. It was different back in the 80s and 90s because it was just like your average like fat cat that's in there and just like making calls. But now there's like 30 fat cats making calls here. So
yeah, absolutely. And like before we move into the actual main books, I know people want to hear this and you'll want to see it as well. But as it says there as well, for example, just at the top of the PEGI part there, look, the game has received a PEGI 16 because it features use of strong language, use of illegal drugs and strong violence, not suitable for persons 16 or under. Like they need to screen this, for example, Square Enix, because if they're going to put the game out, what if it gets an 18 rating and they need to cut content from it and they need to get it down the rate? Because they're not going to they're not putting a Life is Strange game out at 18. Like, I'm sorry, like you're not going to put one out because you're going to lose even more revenue from that. Like they need to make sure it's contained with that. So it's like they'll probably be like, okay, we need to get it on there just to see what classification it is. Like we could make a horror film and we could be like, oh, it's like a 15. We took it's like a professional body. They'd say it's an 18. And it's like, well, we'd be like, oh my God, like what's happened there? And you'd have to like quickly change scenes in there, you know, the graphic kills and stuff. That's why, again, it was like that, do you when Deadpool was made and it became R-rated and people were like, yes, it's like, thank God for that, because everyone was concerned that they were going to make it PG or something. Like, you know, these are processes that you go through. So all interesting. Adam, should I give you the story description?
Yeah, no, I was just like trying to remember. It's just like, because I know here in America we have E, T, and M, and I know M is 18, but I was like, how old do you have to be to write by a teen game? And 13 and up. We live in a weird country, man. And I still remember a time. I still remember when E10 was a thing, like something in between rated E and rated 10, rated teen. They're like, well, it's E10. I was alive when they did that too. And
but they wanted that done there because it's like you can blur the fine lines to get more people to buy games, you know? Like, for example, like some games, Grand Theft Auto, they accept that they're in 18 because they don't need to bring the rating down. That's their system. Life is Strange, for example, would want to be 16 or even younger because you don't want people not to be able to buy the game. Let's look at their clientele, who's going to buy the game. You're going to want them at a certain age range where they can actually pick up the game themselves. Like this costs sales, this can cost all kinds of things. So this is just going to start with
in a weird country.
Yeah. What do you think of the name, by the way, of the game before we move on? Life is Strange Reunion.
When I tell you that when I remember when we were talking about like give me some outrageous takes about it. It's gonna be the most bland, mediocre, like safe. And this is what it is. It's not the fault of really anybody at Deck 9, like artistically. You have to understand when we talk about this that there's like a lot of fat cats in here. Square Enix is breathing down the neck of Deck 9, right? And I'll say how this relates to Stranger Things in when we get further. But you have to understand that like a lot of things in life, in your media, in your big medias, are breathed down the neck. Square Enix was breathing down the neck and make it safe. Life is Strange Reunion. Chloe Price. Oh my God. It's when I tell you, dude, you're not gonna like this game because it's so safe. It's right there. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah. Like I immediately thought of Final Fantasy when I saw this because I've been playing the remake trilogy and everyone thinks that the reunion is going to be the next one because obviously they allude to Sephiroth and stuff. But like, like I think with this is like publisher 101. Like there's so much there's so much red tape and bureaucracy and stuff like this now. Like there's not enough autonomy to make the game the passion project you want to. But I'll come into that in the main section. Should we go into the story? So you haven't read the story at all?
No, I have not. No.
Okay. So this is first Adam. Introduction, so brief outline. Adam, the story is Chloe Price was Max Caulfield's partner in time. Losing her is Max's greatest regret. Now Chloe has come to Caledon University. Haunted by nightmares and impossible memories, Chloe needs Max's help. But Max is already in crisis. In 3 days, a deadly inferno will destroy the campus.
Oh, so stupid.
Penny for your thoughts. What's the equivalent for you guys? A cent for your thoughts?
No, we don't make pennies anymore. They're gone. Okay. Oh my God. I'm only laughing because.
Go on.
Dude. I wish we could tell you why Chloe's wasn't in the first double exposure. I wish we could, but we can't, and I'm sorry. You can speculate all you want. I don't care. It doesn't get us in trouble if you speculate. I'm telling you right now, they're going to do their very best to just shove Chloe into this game by any means necessary.
Mm.
And I'm reading this right now, and you are going to hate the way they did Chloe Price. Chloe Price comes to Kaladin from where, dude? Like, I can she tracks Max down. Okay, I can see it already. Like, well, I saw your pictures and I saw you online. You're in Kaladin. I need your help. Blah blah blah. But like, depending on like your choice, like I chose that like Chloe dies in double exposure, right?
Yeah.
Only because the other option was like we broke apart, like it's not trauma bonded, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. So like, oh, we just drifted apart, or she's dead. So like what? Like now we're gonna think like, oh, Chloe, I thought you died. I thought you
No.
died.
So your boy's been in a bit of trouble recently on Twitter because he's put some
Oh,
strong
God.
language out there, and I've also made it onto the front page of the Life is Strange Reddit page for why this is an explanation. Should I bring it in
Okay.
now or should I bring it in later?
Let me just finish my thought real
Please,
quick.
yeah.
I'm not gonna go on any.
No, no, go.
I'm sorry, I'm drying my tears right now. It's so stupid. So what the problem here is that you're really just shoving Chloe in, no matter how, if it makes sense or not. Haunted by nightmares and impossible memories. The hell does that mean?
Oh, I know what it means. And I'm going to be vindicated
goody.
what it means.
By impossible memories. Chloe needs Max's help, but Max is already in crisis. I'm telling you right now, I'm reading this, and I still remember this. This is how I'm going to finish my thought here. I still remember when you and I were going through that leak of what was originally called
Aperture.
Aperture. Thank you.
Mm.
We were going through those leaks, and we're like, this is so dumb. This
Yeah.
can't be real. And this, to me, like after doing Aperture, I'm like, well, this is real. Great. Like if this came out with our Aperture mindset, we would have been like, get bents. Like this is not happening. And
Yeah.
now I'm just like, great, this is happening because of Square Enix. So
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, you're not going to like the way they shove Chloe Price into this game.
Do you know what? Let me reaffirm your point there as well. What did I say
Yeah,
a
go
couple
for it.
episodes ago? Very much relevant. Look at the way Kaladin University is laid out. Look at what they were doing. Look at what the story they were telling. I told you they were hell-bent on a direction at one point. I tweeted about it before and blah, blah. That was the story. As Adam said, when they're shoehorning her in, they can shoehorn her in now. But is she relevant to the overarching story? No, like that's look, Kaladin
Because
University
again,
was set
like,
out that way. It was set out that way. We
yeah,
played it, we were looking over it, and we were discussing it, me and Adam privately about things. And it was set in a certain way where this is the game, the hub, that will be the game for future games to take place at. And it's set in stone, like where the way Chloe Price's story is being told, there was enough left to pivot as they could. But they were basically setting the story and the foundation up in a way where, like, whatever has changed, it's changed. Like, even the Aperture thing, like, that was ridiculous because we couldn't actually believe it was real. And it came from an unverified, like, play tester who had, like, said something. This is from PEGI. This is as legit as it can get as well for information, like, from regulatory bodies. But with Chloe Price and the way of putting her in, this is like where you're like, is this going to be Ashley Birch? No, it's not. This is going to be Rihanna DeVries. And then on top of that, I even said it as well, nothing against Rihanna DeVries. I think Rihanna DeVries is a great before the storm Chloe Price. Rihanna DeVries is not your older Chloe Price. Ashley Birch has a very distinct style about her where she does teenage Chloe Price very well. And adult Chloe Price is very differently from young Chloe Price. Even when you saw Rihanna trying to rehash the lines from Double Exposure, it sounded funny.
yeah.
It sounded off. Like you're going to get a different Chloe Price. You're going to get very one that's going to really rub.
By the way, this is a different director because we had it wasn't
Johnny
Zach
Boy.
Garris. Oh, what's that?
Johnny Boy, John Stauder.
Oh, wait,
which game are you talking about?
No. So for Before the Storm, who was the
Webb.
director?
It's Webb and Chris. Webb pick his girl,
Chris Floyd. Thank you. I was like, it wasn't Zach.
Zach's the writer.
But it was Chris Floyd.
Zach was the writer on it.
But like, so the way you're talking about Rihanna DeVries, we're talking about not just Rihanna DeVries like delivering, but the Rihanna DeVries with a completely different director and writer.
Yeah.
So if you didn't like the Rihanna DeVries's delivery of Chloe and Before the Storm with Chris Floyd and Webb Pickerskill, this is going to be a completely different Rihanna DeVries. So not only is it a completely different, so not only was Before the Storm a completely different Chloe Price, but now you're going to get that completely different Chloe Price in a different Chloe Price, you know?
And in the motion capture, because before that it was Webb
Yes.
doing the motion capture for Before the Storm, and Philip Bart did the voiceover. Now it's Zach Andrews going to be doing this.
Yeah,
If this
Philip
is what
Fox
the
not part of it anymore.
yeah, so this is a completely different. You're directing, because I remember as well, Webb Pickersgill directed Rihanna DeVries for the voiceover for Double Exposure. Webb Pickersgill is not at Deck 9 anymore. With the production line and what's going on there, he can't have directed this project in that way. You're basically going to have a new performance director in who's obviously phenomenally talented as it is, but he's got a very distant. Go and watch The Expanse. Go and watch how he directs people. He directs people in a very different way. He gets a great performance out of people. Like Lily Hakama is fantastic in that. Even Frost he directs Frost in as Tor. But Zach Andrews' style is so different from Webb Pickersgill's style because they have to be different from what they're doing. And it's that's going to be another thing with this game. This game's almost like it's George Lucas's Temple of Doom moment with the way the story's being told. Where it's like, let's just burn everything down. Like, I mean, in itself as well. Go on, sorry.
Like it's just a complete. We don't even know if it is Rihanna DeVries. Like, can we confirm that? You know?
No comment.
Okay. Because I was gonna say it's like I don't know if Rihanna's doing anything actively right now. So if they were to ask her,
to provide public information, Rihanna DeVries has had listings on their website that were removed, then added and removed back and forth, which included motion capture projects, voiceover, and full performance captures.
So like that makes sense. Like at least like it's just kind of like from public knowledge. Like it could be Rihanna DeVries, but it's not going to be Ashley Birch. Like I can be safe in saying that it's not going to be Ashley.
I would bet my house on it. I'd throw the entire kitchen sink that it's not Ashley Birch. That's how much I'm convinced it's not.
No, and that's the thing. It's going to be like Rihanna DeVries or another actress, right?
Yeah,
it's going to be one of the two. It's not Ashley Birch. But what I'm saying is that like if you didn't like Before the Storm's Chloe Price, you are not going to like this one. Like it's not going to change your mind. And that's why I'm like, that's part of like reason why I was laughing. I'm like, these people don't know.
Yeah,
like,
but they're rushing for the endorphin rush. Like for example, again, this is not Farewell because Farewell was Hannah Tell and Ashley Birch. We have only seen Hannah Tell's voice obviously in performance in Double Exposure, and we've seen Rihanna DeVries' voice in Double Exposure. We have not seen them work on screen chemistry. This is going to find it very strange for a lot of people. No pun intended. Seeing the two of them opposite each other. You are now.
I didn't think about that.
This is where it's going, and I've said it before, this is not going to work as a dynamic because they are two very different. They are way too different. If I had the chance and I was doing an adult Chloe, I would have got Gabriella Hirsch to do it, who's Chloe's motion capture actor from the first game. If you listen to her, she sounds very much like Chloe. Like if you close Ashley Birch off, you're like, hang on a minute, she could play Chloe. And it's like, she's got the voice for it. She could easily play like an adult Chloe. But with Rihanna DeVries has that like, that teen angsty, not again saying it in the performance sense, the teen angsty Chloe Price kind of thing before Life is Strange 1, and it works fine for that. Can she do that for Chloe Price beyond that? Because the expectation people are going to have is an Ashley Birch level adult Chloe Price performance, and you're not going to get that. So it's immediately going to find it strange seeing it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So let's move on some more. Like give me more info. More, please.
So obviously, I just wanted to point out as well, the game that has put this franchise into the mud and caused all kinds of problems. If you love Double Exposure, great for you, etc. To keep the game.
Why people in our comments do like Double Exposure, which I'm happy that you like it. I'm happy that you like a game you paid for.
I just when Felice Kwan was saying in the first game that there was like metaphors about the writers being circumvented and stuff. This for me, that ending sentence is like the Deck 9 team being like, F you all, because like the game that has put this franchise into the mud, being a brand killer, an IP killer, etc., they are now going to destroy the campus. I'm sorry.
So happy. I'm so happy I saved my reaction to this. Like, this is bonkers, dude.
I couldn't
Yeah.
stop laughing at that part because I was like, yeah. I was like, they're gonna destroy it 'cause it's like, yeah, like this screwed a lot of us over. It's like, let's just blow it up, like, you know. Yeah, I think like again, but also Adam, again, read the description. It's Life is Strange 1. Literally, people owe you in the comments, you owe him an apology. He said they will play this safe.
Me?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
owe you an apology. They need to look you like this. They owe you an apology because you said, not even literally last episode, they will play it safe. That last line, what's destroying it now? Oh, it's not a tornado, it's an inferno. Literally every single time. This is the thing that has haunted this studio, Deck 9, Square Enix, and Don't Nod Entertainment. They have not been able to escape the shadow of this game. It's haunted them all.
I was like having a conversation with starts with a V in our comments section. Like I know your faces. If you're a fan of this podcast, you know I'm terrible with names. The only names I remember are it's about Stranger Things.
It was.
The only person I remember their name is Kevin, and that's because they haunt my nightmares. Flashdrum. So like I was having a conversation about like the ending and conformity gates thing, and that whole no, it's spoiler free. The only spoilers is saying like the ending was average. And I said that before. Like the ending was very safe and very boring, and that's why this conformity gates theory came to be. And I was like,
by the way, if you're wondering, he's talking about Stranger Things. This was the conversation that's listening, but yeah, continue. Sorry.
The only reason why they're doing that is because the ending was so safe, and now they're coming up with like, well, that can't be the actual ending. Right? They have to give us more. And so they came up with this theory like, no, they're going to give us more. I'm not saying that the Duffer Brothers screwed up the ending. I'm saying that Netflix screwed up the ending. And this is what I'm talking about with this. And when I say that Netflix screwed up, we're talking about Netflix knowing that it was a major IP and don't disappoint anybody. So now you have to please everybody. And when you please everybody, you please nobody. Number two, is that we have what's called second screen writing. So whenever you watch Stranger Things and they're just explaining things way too much and way too often, second screen writing is like they know that you're scrolling on your phone, then you're looking up, and you're scrolling on your phone and you're looking up. So like your second screening, so they demand that you write a second screening kind of screenplay. Keep it short, sweet, and keep repeating your plot.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is that like Netflix really ruined that ending to be so safe. And now people are saying like conformity gate because like I can't accept that ending. Yeah. Neither can I. What brings us back to Life is Strange here is that like you're looking at this in terms of just like, well, Deck 9's really ruining it. Half, yes, 100%. Like half of it like could be on the blame of Deck 9. But what I'm saying is that Square Enix is playing the part of Netflix, that it's going to be such a disappointing ending, and you're going to blame Deck 9 100%. Blame Square Enix for once in your lives. Comment section, blame Square for once. Anytime they're just like, oh, Don't Nod didn't do this, or Deck 9 didn't do this, or Telltale with The Expanse didn't do. Square Enix is so hands into the cookie jar, so up the butt of Deck 9 that Deck 9 becomes their puppet. Like, I need you to understand, comment section, that you need to blame Square sometimes. Okay, it's okay. We can all come in together as a community and blame Square for these decisions.
It is quite remarkable that they get away with like murdering certain parts with like people. I've always seen it. So it's like Deck. I've even seen like titles where it's like YouTube, it's like Deck 9 destroy the franchise. Like, do you realize there's publishers that worked on this as well? Like, why the hell are you putting all this on a studio? Like, they have a responsibility.
I don't think people really understand. Like, people don't really understand what the role is of a publisher.
No, they don't.
Like, I don't think they understand what the role is.
That's not condescending either. I think it's actually true. I don't think people understand it unless you actually start getting into the game development.
Because publishers are a lot like producers in movies. If you're listed as an executive producer or like a producer, that can mean one of 100 things. One of the things could be just you provided money. So now you're an
Yeah.
executive producer. But the other thing could be like you're actively funding and putting in jobs into the roles and making sure that everything goes smoothly. There's 100 different things. Publishers kind of the same way. Like it could be like you funded the game or you had your hand in it could mean 100 different things. Yeah. Like that's what I mean. Like they're not dumb for thinking that like, oh, I don't know what a publisher does, because publishers they have like one of 100 roles,
Yeah.
Square Enix is like the worst.
Yeah, but again, it goes back to that horror movie thing with the MPAA ratings going and stuff like that. People change it behind the scenes. The executives are saying it. It's like, well, we need to cut that scene, or we need to cut that scene, or we need to do something like that because they need to get a rating classification.
Yeah.
Unless it's like an independent love project or something, they usually have some kind of publisher executive order that's on place. Like you never get the product that you want from it. Same with Stranger Things. They'll probably be like all hands on the cookie jar at that point when they get to the 5th season. Do you know what as well? It reminds me as well of Double Exposure coming out, and we knew the entire plot before the game came out because we had already found out. But that's why there's literally that StrangeCast says, "Don't buy it. We warned you. We knew everything that was going to happen." But one of the things that happened there was Adam was talking about that episode where it's kind of funny you're talking about, and like, can this game land after 2 episodes? And we were both there like, oh no. I was like, oh no. I was like, they haven't seen the 3 remaining episodes. Cause I'm like, that's where it's gonna. Because everyone was like, oh, why are you not buying it? It's like 2 episodes. We're like, wait for the next 3. Like, wait for those next 3 because it's like they're gonna really hit you. And when it happened, I was like, because the first thing they were saying was like, will it land? Will it land? And that's the thing with TV shows. Like, will it land? Will it land? Same with this game. Will it land? Will it land? And you're like, so
no, it's unfortunate. And I'm not trying to say like if you like Double Exposure, you should like hate yourself in the mirror. Like I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that like for the general audience, I think that generally speaking, right, most fans are going to be disappointed with this game, and I can guarantee that, dude. So, tell me more. Tell me more about this game. More info.
The thing is, as well, like in itself, like obviously they're going to get disappointed. Like as I said, ultimately there will be some people who are fickle enough to be like, yeah, cool, I'll accept it, and I've got something. But one thing I'm going to say is like, you might appease price fuel by bringing Chloe Price back, but other people will stand there, and including myself, be like, what was the point in this? What did you achieve by doing this? Like the way you did it, you could have just sold the game together then at that point, and at least not avoided all the controversy that you are doing. Like there's nothing there that makes this clear indication of why you're doing what you're doing. In itself, let me bring the Chloe Price part in here.
Yeah.
So I was talking to Jace as well, my boy Jace, and we were talking last night, and he said, like, for example, that's that part that you highlighted, which is, let me pull up the rating here, haunted by nightmares and impossible memories, because he was like, can you play as Chloe maybe? There might be, in one of the other descriptions, you might play as another character potentially.
Sure.
So my theory was, and this is what got me in trouble as well a little bit on Reddit, my theory is that they've smashed the timelines together at the end of Double Exposure. So I'll add credence to it now here. So like one thing I'll show you, Adam, as I was like just browsing Reddit for the sake of it.
Yes, because I'm always on Reddit.
Well, I was browsing it, and here I am. Someone posted me. I was like, what? I was like,
hey!
I was like, why is someone posting it? And someone's put, if Deck 9 already set up the next game to be a specific type of story, I hope Deck 9 at least fully commits to the stupidity of this concept. Well, thank you. And does some actual bonkers stuff. So with that, Adam, I'll read you what I put here.
Yes,
and I'll kind of give my post reflections on it as well, because it did go crazy with some of the views and stuff. I put, did anyone actually finish Life is Strange Double Exposure, or am I going mad? Because I cannot understand how people are confused that Chloe Price is mentioned here. I'm saying, I've been saying this for the longest time ever, that the ending of Double Exposure is the most important part. We've been talking about this in the podcast. I was put to watch out for. It tells you no matter which timeline you follow, Bay or Bay, they've merged both universes. Max can't trigger her split at the end of Double Exposure. She tells the player each time they try, because the 2 timelines have merged. Even John Stauder.
Yeah, like just to iterate on you, like the very end of the game, they cannot put it in your face anymore. They're like every time you talk to a character, Max is like, I don't know. I guess the timelines merged. I don't know.
Yeah,
like they made it so in your face that the timelines are like, there's no more timelines. It just merged. That's it.
Yeah. And so, as I said, it's like, even John Stauder, Life is Strange Double Exposure's eventual director, said that they were working off a quote-unquote Safi timeline. What he didn't make clear is that the Safi timeline includes both Bay and Bay, regardless of what the player ultimately chooses. No matter which ending you follow, Life is Strange Double Exposure brings you full circle to one final destination. At that point, Chloe Price exists in your game, whether you choose the Bay or Bay timeline, because the Safi timeline includes Chloe no matter what. I must be I must be one of the most outspoken critics of DE, still am, and rightfully so. But it actually baffles me that I didn't that I get the ending more than others did. It is more important. It is literally the most important eye-catching part of the entire game. How has no one else noticed that? Max Caulfield's role in merging the timelines sets up the quote-unquote only possible point for them to pivot the story in a meaningful way. And I use meaningful because Deck 9 and Square Enix have trapped themselves into a corner with how double exposure turned out. The first project was unwinnable and still surprises me to this day that it saw the light of day, all things considering. But I honestly don't think the most skillful writer in the world could pivot the story in a way that doesn't come across as bad fan fiction. So those were the tweets I put. So let me just say one thing. I did lace it a little bit with my emotions with that, when I didn't anyone notice? This is why I don't tweet things, because people read my messages wrong. There's a spectrum and stuff like that. It's always
No,
happens.
I'm reading this, and maybe because I know you so well. I mean, you
Of
are
course.
both brothers at this point.
Yes.
No, I'm reading this, and it's just like that's just I agree with everything in your take is because especially your last point. How do you pivot from
Yeah.
that? Because you already started, and to give you like, you have to bring in Drew Karpyshyn to kind of pivot this kind of like thing. You have to have a very skilled science fiction writer because, like you said before, you started it with there's 2 times already a bay and a bay,
Yes.
and then you go into this game, and now there's a live Sophy and a dead Sophy. So that could it just breaks apart. So there's already 4 in that. So there's like, if I'm doing my math right, is that 16 different? What's that?
Yeah.
Oh, 4 time.
Yeah.
Because 4 there's 4 timelines, but then you can merge into like different scenarios. Like, is it alive Sophy but dead Chloe? And then I think you can go 16 different routes on that.
Yeah.
But then if you go even further than that, you can go like 32 routes. What
Mm.
I'm trying to say is like there's all these different routes, but when you merge the timelines, which timeline is true in the terms of like alive Chloe, right? So does your choice even like matter? Even from 2015, if Chloe lives or dies, because this one choice that they made just to make an easy ending, like, oh, the timelines just merge. It doesn't work like that. Like in terms of like, it doesn't work like that in a way of like, if you want to continue the story, it doesn't work like that. If you're just ending it right there, that the timelines merged, people can just like make their own predictions. But you want to, if your goal was to continue the story and you say, I merged the timelines, what does that mean? And I guess that means Chloe's alive. Like, I guess they're just going to merge into that way. I'm not trying to say that like I'm not trying to say anybody's a bad writer at Deck 9, but when you're trying to like go into 32 different timelines here and merge them and all for it to be conveniently placed in Chloe, you need like Drew Karpyshyn.
Yeah.
You need a Ray Bradbury at that point. So that's what I'm thinking.
You spot on, because like the thing is though as well, that story synopsis that is for Life is Strange Reunion, it's a follow direct continuation of this game. They told you Max Caulfield will return. They're not going to prequel territory. This is straight continuation. And the way the game ends as well, like, so let me just kind of explain it. It's very hard to explain because like it's the only moment in the game where I sat up because I was like, no. I was like, I know what you've done here, because again, you go full circle. By the time you get to the end of the game, what has been achieved? What has happened? Even Sophy's final choice, where it's like refuse and accept. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. You basically get to the end de facto is when Max ends on that line where she's like, I'm going to stand up, I'm going to face the truth now, and all the music and yada, yada, yada. She's basically saying, I'm now ready to embrace what the past has happened, but the past has now merged. So in itself, like, for example, the Sophy timeline, right? Everyone is affected by it, right? So everyone that is in the close proximity. But also we have to remember, Sophy's still dead in the other universe. So the one Sophy that we had before is dead. We now have a Sophy that's there. All the other characters' minds merge, don't they? All the memories. For example, this is where you can do cheap retconning. For example, when people are like, well, if Baymax would merge with the other Baymax, wouldn't they have the memories? Well, in the other timeline, that Max isn't there, is she? Because do we ever bump into her? So it's like, and it's a living, and even by name, it's living and dead timelines. Even if they are specifically associated with Sophy, it is implying almost if you follow either direction of the game, it follows on that point. So it doesn't have to be, for example, that Chloe's texts merge with the other timeline. Because, for example, it could be that Chloe's still alive and Max doesn't realize now. because she's changed things. Remember the stuff that happens with the tornado, for example, where it pulls both Safi and Max in. It has the Arcadia Bay memories that are recollecting, and it also has Safi's memories. Who's to say that the wider implication hasn't impacted all of Caledon University? Because we joke about there's 16 people on there. How is the rest of the world not being affected by this? Max's powers are untapped and limitless for what she does. She can obviously affect the state space-time continuum. She creates a tornado in the first game because she's rewinding time, which will kill hundreds of people. Her powers aren't just limited to Arcadia Bay. The butterfly flaps its wings.
You seem to forget, Adnan. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
That's the main
thing. It doesn't matter. Adnan, why are you thinking about this? It doesn't matter.
And that's what I was going to lace my last point with.
Life is strange. More like life is Seinfeld. It doesn't matter. Nothing happens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My last point was going to be that, because it's like, it doesn't matter whatever trying logic you put to this game now. What they're going to try and do is repair it. And it doesn't matter if it's that little fine detail, like, why can't Max jump the photo? They don't care. They're now going to put something in place for it. And it's with this, for example, where they are going to merge the timelines and smash them together and say that, oh, well, we actually said that last game, but like, we've merged the timelines. That's what we meant. Just one more thing as well, because I actually prepared for this as well. Let me just show you some of the images from the game, which people didn't watch, because one of them is really interesting and it caught my eye. So this is, for example, I actually went and took this on my PS5 before we came on. I put this game in, it kind of haunted me. So this is where you're in the courtyard, right? Where Max is there. And she says as well, this is the first time you can activate the power, post Safi going, etc. She's put there, I can't do that. I haven't been able to use those powers since the storm. The storm has happened. The trigger point has happened. The event has happened. She can't use it. So she's in the courtyard. It happens, right? Take you to the snapping turtle, right? Big line. It's no use. There is only... Oh, hang on. Messed that up. Sorry.
Oh, boy.
It always happens. Yeah. Why does it do that? Big line here. Big line.
Yeah, I make you nervous. That's why.
It's no use. There's only one world now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
World.
That's what I mean, though. Like, so in this ending, they put it right in your face all the time.
Yeah. So when you were saying then, Adam, as well, when you like, there could be, I said there's 4 timelines, there's like a possibility 16. There is no other universe now. This is the only universe we are in now. Max cannot go and find other Maxes. There is nothing else. They're establishing that very clearly with the line. It's no use. There's only one world now. That's the second image. So that's the first time you can trigger the power in the actual snapping turtle. And she says that. Again, Adam, second line. Both worlds merged. I can't do that anymore. Not timelines, worlds. Yeah. She's saying that everything in the world has now merged. There is no other splinter universe. That even that ridiculous third Polaroid timeline that doesn't connect to anything. It doesn't, if you're wondering. That can't come into it. They have merged the timelines. There is one world we are now in here. Right? Big one, Adam. Yeah. The biggest one. So if you remember as well, for anyone who played this game, if you still remember it as well, snapping turtle, the split point, right? What happens there if you go to it and you try and activate the power or press it? Key line coming up here. Key line. I can't hear that humming sound anymore. There's only one world now. No more doorways to open timelines. No more doors. Both points there. Both the world and timelines have been mentioned there. She's telling you that there's no timelines left anymore. There's no worlds left anymore. One world, one universe, one timeline.
One love.
One love. Bay and Bay are gone now. We are literally in the one timeline now. They've smashed the timelines together to the point where this is where Chloe Price comes in, because whatever happens de facto at the end of double exposure, the same questions applied. Are you going to run away from your future? Are you going to run away from your past? Is it Chloe Price or is it Arcadia Bay? You can easily pivot at this point, because even that as well, the acknowledgement, well, she doesn't know Chloe's alive in the other one if she comes back. Haunted by impossible memories and X thing. What's the exact description that they put in there? Haunted by nightmares and impossible memories. Impossible memories. They're literally setting it up. So if you choose Bay or Bay, either or she's coming back. Can you see what they're doing here?
Which goes kind of into the comics, right? Like there's a certain like merging timelines, but again, like I don't think they're going to be, when I say they aren't going to be careful, I'm talking specifically Square Enix. Square Enix is not going to be careful with this timeline. They're just going to say, do this or else no job for you, sir. You know, that when I say they're going to be Square Enix. So Square Enix to say, throw Chloe Price in. How? We don't care. We don't
Exactly.
care. Just make it happen. Chloe Price is
Yeah.
now in the game. I don't care. Like that's exactly what's going to happen. As somebody who takes commission work, I don't have to do everything. I don't have to agree with everything I'm told. I just have to do the job that I was asked to do. Right.
Yeah.
I can give my inputs, but I need to do the job I was ordered to do. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're not going to be careful with putting in
No.
Chloe. They're just going to shove Chloe into this, and it's not going to make sense in a sci-fi setting. Which I'm sorry to tell you, you're like, oh well, it's Life is Strange. If you think that Life is Strange is not science fiction, buddy, do I have some books for you to read? Like I'm telling you right now, Life is Strange is de facto a science fiction story. So
Look,
it's yeah.
It's not in your face. I think the tweets that I placed was what it was. I was kind of like, because this was the only moment I sat up in the game because I was like, hang on a minute. I was like, I know what they've just done here because I kept activating the pause. I was like, how is she not activating the pause? I was like, and when I got into this place, and I've said this for over a year on this podcast, I was like, this is the most important sequence in the entire game because it creates. I would pivot off this. This is how I would set that story up because you've literally given every reason for it. Anyone argues against it, applying logic, I'm like, well, you overthought it. Well, I'm going to be like, also as well. Well, I'd be like, if everyone's powers merge, if everyone's minds merge, why don't Max's? Well, Max has powers. She counteracts powers from that. Literally, you can make that argument. You can be, and people can try and dispute it. But if you're going to write writing, and if you're going to be a bad fan fiction writer or whatever, you can still do this though. You can break parameters. You know, it's almost like you can try and apply as much logic to someone's writing as it is. Even Michel has writing holes in his games as well, and Jean-Luc, they create those because they can't explain the inexplainable at certain points. You just have to kind of make it as viable as it can as a product. But like with this, for example, what she's doing there, it was the only interesting part of the game. So I was like, hang on a minute. Because like all you're doing at the end of the first game is you're setting up for basically, we don't have to do Arcadia Bay and Bay. They're basically going to run together because it's one timeline. It's one timeline now, one set. It wouldn't surprise me if Reunion ended with them both going back to Arcadia Bay, which is the reunion of the entire thing. Max and Chloe going back to Reunion. It creates that full circle thing. The game sets up for this. They were basically getting to this point after all the pivots and stuff because like, we need to get to this point because then we can springboard into a new direction and we don't have to do Bay and Bay separately. It's a theory. I could be completely wrong on this, but the way the story is being told. Yeah.
But like the game.
Yeah, well, like I'm just saying, like this is the most logical one. You can't apply the logic of like Max wants this memory. Like we've thrown that out the window. Like this game ago, like when we started this game, there was no logic applied to it, and it makes it might have made this might have made a bit more sense had they kept the tornado in its proper like form that they were doing with double exposure. Do you when Kevin asked that question? It's like, what would you remove the tornado? You can't remove it because it was part of the game. They needed it in that game integrally.
That's what I mean. There's some things in science fiction you just can't remove because you feel like removing it. It's like in terms of now science fiction, I'm going to literary speak right now. Science fiction is a little bit more forgiving in terms of just like you can change worlds up a little bit more than fantasy. Fantasy, once you set a world up, like those rules apply no matter what. Like you mess up rules in a fantasy novel or a fantasy story, you're done for.
Yeah.
Science fiction has that little bit of wiggle room because you can just say, well, wormholes.
Yes.
Well, like, well, this, and it's just like you can just explain it with science and sounding sciencey, and you can just,
Adam, it's not even science fiction. Kojima,
and I guess
nano machines, brother, nano machines. Like, how much did that become a meme? And he did it. He was like, "Screw you guys," because like, I'm going to use this as the reason for it, and it worked. Well, for me,
nano machines. Like, when before someone gets in the comments, like you can say in fantasy, like, well, magic. I guess you can say that, like, well, magic happened. Sure, and you can agree with me in the comments that like that's a lazy way of writing. Like, well, magic. And you might be saying, Adam, when are you going to write your book? I don't know. Maybe soon. Who knows? But what I'm trying to say is that like because this is science fiction, you have much more wiggle room, right? but at the same time, you only have so much wiggle room
Yeah.
before it starts to like you start to like break the immersion of what the story is. Double exposure has already broken
Yeah.
the immersion of what Life is Strange originally was intended to be, but now you're going to get even further in terms of breaking the immersion. I'm sure there's going to be people that love Life is Strange Reunion, which we can both agree might not be the actual title because it was originally Aperture. They
That was for double
can
exposure. The Aperture
I
rumor.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. It was Aperture and now it was
Yeah.
Double Exposure. Reunion could become Life is Strange Blue Hair Girl. I don't know. But what I'm saying is that like there is room for tweaking and people could love this game. But I'm telling you right now, it is going to be the safest Life is Strange game you've ever seen, right? And we all thought that True Colors was safe.
Mm.
This is going to be what people thought about the Stranger Things ending is going to what people are going to think about this game. Safe.
Yeah, this will be the final Life is Strange game for a long time. Deck 9 will go after this. Square Enix, well, obviously Square Enix London has been destroyed, and same with North America branch. It's game over at this point. This is the game over chapter where we put things out with it. And like, there's only one way you can do, which is this pivot. If it's wrong, it's wrong. It's just an idea, and you can't apply too much logic to it. I'm sorry, this is where I feel that criticism out, because it's not about, did Max get memories and did she fuse with other Max? They've thrown the rule book out the window a long time ago. They don't care about the Jean-Luc Michel parameters and regulations and whatever else you put in the writing. Now it's just de facto balls to the walls, get this game out, because they were ready to assemble the Avengers at the last game. Like, you can't really put that much logic with it. And even that line, for example, which is there a key line, she's just told you that it's both timelines and worlds. There's no other world here. So what happens in every other universe? In that, there's always a universe where Bay and Bay are happening. It's a continuous loop with that. So she's basically merged every universe in existence, every world in existence. We are in a de facto one. You could easily yank Chloe Price out of another universe. And again, she can come into the other side if you choose the beginning of the game. And she's like, oh, did this happen? I can't actually remember this. It's like, that's crazy. Haunted by impossible dreams. What could that possibly be? Like, it's clearly that. It's literally the two sentences followed by Chloe's name. It's like they've merged Bay and Bay together to set up this game because they're going for one de facto ride off the thing at this point, and they're destroying Katelyn at the same time, because it will likely end with Chloe and Max going back to Arcadia Bay, which has been reworked, because where else are they going to go? They destroyed Katelyn. Like, they will destroy Katelyn at the end of the game. Honestly,
Backwards.
But this is one piece I think a lot of people have missed on. I really have not seen many people talk about it. It's the only part in the game that I thought was interesting, and I was like, I see what you're about to do. Remember, go back and watch that entire final sequence. It's really ridiculous what it is, but it's actually really interesting what they're doing as well, because they reset everything de facto to 1. We go from 100 to 1. Everything's set there. The characters, who's going on, memories, Max. There's only one Max now. Remember, one Max. Doesn't matter about any other Maxes. One Max. Even the other side as well, when it's like, because like there's no even parameters to say that Chloe Price's text are yanked from the other universe, because that's not a person. You could be like, she has the memories, but again, we can just make the argument, well, Max doesn't get affected by powers. You might find that infuriating, but people do that. They do that with science fiction because they're like, screw you. Like, also as well, one of the greatest sci-fi writers, Stephen King, how infuriating is he for plot holes? How infuriating is Stephen King for plot holes in there? 11/22/63 walks in a freezer. Why is it in a freezer? The time jumping back. What?
So I don't think Stephen King is more on the whole thing of plot holes more than Stephen King is like, and you're going to find this disrespectful, but I'm going to say it. He's a lot like Kojima, where he's like, fuck you. Like that's a thing. Like, both Kojima and Stephen King, you're just like, fuck you. I'm going to do this. Like 10 toes down. Like, I'm going to write this. Whereas like I've read and seen movies and read books. I'm just like, come on, man. Come on. There's certain times where you're just like, you go 10 toes down, like, oh, I'm going to write a story. Screw you.
Yeah.
And then there's plot holes like the last Stranger Things. The last Stranger Things was just like a mess of plot holes. I'm like, well, what about this? I forgot about this. And there's interviews with the Duffer Brothers, like, oh yeah, oh, I forgot about that. That's weird. Like they're both looking at each other like, oh, we did forget about that. Oh, Oh, like
To add on to that as
oh,
well, it's like that scene from Xena in Simpsons where they have the comic book guy and all the comics like but in issue 612 Xena does this and she's like, I don't care, dude. It's like I'm just making money from this. It's that really famous
yeah.
sketch. That's what it is. They don't
And
care about you.
to defend the Duffer Brothers right there, when I said that Netflix had their hand in this, I think in interviews they just say, "Oh, I think we forgot about that," but they can't say, "Well, Netflix kind of made us forget about that. We're just trying to appease Netflix and write a story with Lindo Hamilton and not use Lyndon Hamilton."
Crazy.
It's that's what I mean though. So when I say there's going to be plot holes in Life is Strange Reunion, it's going to be like that, where
Yeah.
it's not like Kojima or Stephen King, where they just 10 toes down kind of stuff. There's plot holes. Let's be real about this. There are plot holes in Life is Strange 1.
Oh,
Absolutely.
massively. There's
There's
plot holes
massive,
in Life is Strange 1.
but Michelle Coe writes plot holes in the same way that Stephen King writes plot holes. Like
Yeah.
they just you just have to like what sorry, what's the phrase where you have to like just watch something without questioning it?
Suspend disbelief.
Thank you. So you have to like do it in like a suspense of disbelief kind of
Yeah.
thing, where in science fiction, like how did Max get her powers? That's a plot hole that's just kind of like it's because story, right?
Yeah.
But when you merge two worlds and then you bring in Chloe there's a plot hole that just like, come on, man. Come on, man. So I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to be fair here by saying that Michelle Coe also writes in plot holes,
Yeah.
but he writes like a science fiction novelist.
Yeah.
Like he writes in a way of just like, because science happened, right? Like the abyss. We don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. But like that's the thing. It's just like because science.
Yeah.
Like I
But
don't
no,
know.
but you're right though. But they explain what needs to be explained. So it's like with him and Jean-Luc, they never explained properly what the powers are because while Square Enix wanted to know about that, it's like there is no reason for it because again, it goes back to that really famous scene. I always say it as well
It's just
every single
nanobot.
time. Yeah, but it goes back to that famous scene in Scream, which is now aged like fine wine, when Billy Loomis is like, why do we know, who needs a motive, Sid? And he talks about all those characters, like, do you know why Hannibal Lecter ate people? And we didn't know then. Thomas Harris is forced to write the novel, and you see it, and you're like, oh, and it's like, yeah, because we don't need to know why Hannibal Lecter is
Even
scarier because we don't know why he eats people. And sorry, this has just fallen over, which is crazy. It is more scary to know that Hannibal Lecter eats people and you don't know why. That's
yeah.
terrifying.
Even with like again, I'm rewatching the British Ghosts,
Yes.
which is fantastic series. Everybody needs to watch Ghosts. Like that's one of the best shows I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And that's why we're rewatching it. But there's a scene where like they're going into the backstory of how one of the ghosts died. And in the entire series, the ghost can sit in a chair, right?
Yeah.
But when the ghost like goes, he puts his hand through the chair, he walks through the chair, but he can sit down on the chair. One of the ghosts comes in and just a little line like, yeah, it doesn't make much sense, does it? And then they just like
Yeah.
go on with the story. That's the writers like saying like, yeah. Like it's one of those things where it's like,
no, it's true. I agree with Adam. It's like they're like whatever. They're like whatever.
That's a plot hole where it's just like, who cares? They can sit in a chair, but they go through objects. Like they just wrote it in like, yeah, it doesn't make much sense, does it? Like, go on with it.
I'm saying
Who cares?
this genius idea that I made on the Reddit. I wasn't sitting there thinking that I'm some like silver wordsmith stuff. That's what I would do to pivot this game because I'm like I'm screwed otherwise. How else are you going to pivot from this game in the direction? I'm like it's the only thing because if anyone says it's like, well, what if Max and Thingy merge? I'm like, well, no, Max has powers and the other Max isn't in the other timeline. Next question. Well, if this happens, I'm like, oh no, all the universes have merged. You can't, de facto, even if it sounds like bad fan fiction, you can answer the questions. Why doesn't Safi? Well, they merged all the timelines. Next question. Oh, I think there's no universes anymore. You can't argue against it. And then also as well, you can make the argument that the Inferno is caused because of it, because you've fused two worlds together and you've caused even more problems, or all the worlds together.
Sure. It's just like you could say that, but like that seems like such an extreme, dude. Like in an Inferno, like. But again, this is Square Enix saying like, make it bigger, make it bigger. Like
yeah.
It doesn't
They
matter.
don't care anymore. They've done what they've done. We'll move into the final quick parts. The last parts aren't that big, but like this is just one because like they merge the timelines for me because they're trying to attack both things, and it easily ends on that finale where it's like, oh, Max and Chloe go back to Arcady Bay, and it's like great, and it's like everyone gets appeased for what it is. I'm just telling you now, there's just too many. This is a game that has been boxed into too many parameters. There was too many problems with the end of that game and stuff. There was very few lifelines. This was the only one where I'm like, actually, this is interesting what you're about to do. And it might not be screaming in your face, but again, these dialogues, I've just shown you 4 key dialogue sequences that happened there. All of them are telling you something that's very important to the game. Maybe it's not screamed in your face, but I think it's one of those where it's like, actually, it is very important to the game. And that's also something you can easily build a game off of the next one as well. Adam, quick final parts, and then we'll kind of wrap this up because I know it's going to go on for a while. I did say it would go on for a while because it's going to be one of those episodes. Adam, so if you can look here, if we move quickly into the next part, which is the content-specific issues. So the game features, illegal drugs, it says. The game features depictions of illegal drugs during a party scene. The player is offered wine and is given the option to take a sip. The player character realizes...
The wine is an illegal drug?
No, it's just saying illegal drugs. It's probably going to be marijuana, isn't it? And stuff like that. It'll be like...
marijuana. Is Ronald Reagan coming in this game?
Maybe. He might come through the time theory of something. He might be merged into the universes. But as you can see there, the player character realizes that she has been spiked from the drink, which again is very interesting that it doesn't say it's Max. It's the player character, which take that as you will. All right, never mind. The player character realizes that she's been spiked from the drink that she sipped on and is experiencing hallucinations. Imagine on the screen becoming distorted and a scene plays out with the character seeing strange images. A character tells the hallucinating character that she's tripping balls. I wonder who that is. It is then explained that she is high on mushrooms. Oh, there you go, Adam. It's mushrooms. It's not thingy.
Viking marijuana.
There are also depictions of strong realistic violence in the opening scene. The game recaps the previous from the series, which includes a scene where a girl is shot in the torso before seen lying on the ground with blood seeping through her shirt, which, we know where that's coming from as Chloe Price reference. Much of the violence in this game is implied. A building is set on fire and people heard screaming inside for help. This game also contains use of strong language, including the F word. Milder bad language also presents, including the A word, the P word, and the S word. Some interesting details in there, Adam.
So I'm going to say this right now. I'm shooting my shot here. You play as Chloe Price the entire game. I'm shooting my shot.
Oh, you won't be playing as Chloe Price the entire game. You'll be playing as Max for most of it.
The entire game. You're going to be playing as Chloe Price.
Imagine that. That would be something.
100%. I am standing on my toes. I'm not betting my house on it, like I said, even though I rent and we're going to be moving from this house. So yeah, I will bet this house. Take it. I don't care. I hate this house. But yeah, I'm more than confident you're going to be playing as Chloe in the entirety of this game.
But you can't, though, because, like, for example, there, the player character is spiked, which would imply Max, and the character tells her she's hallucinating, tripping balls. That's a Chloe Price line. So you're going to be the player character here, which is Max, and that the character tells you that you're hallucinating. Oh, no, sorry, the character tells the hallucinating character. Oh, this will be a Chloe Price sequence.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, you're going to be playing as Chloe. Based off of that scene alone, you're going to be playing as Chloe.
For that scene, not the entire game, you're going to be playing as Max for the majority of the game. That scene can easily set Chloe Price up, because even that as well, because it bleeds into the next part, which is the bleeding from the torso part. Because it's going to go back to flashbacks and stuff.
Deck 9 doesn't really do switching character perspectives. Like, think about all the Deck 9 games that have come out. You don't really switch characters like that. You play as one character, right? Think about Before the Storm, think about True Colors, think about all this. They don't do switching characters. And when they have very limited resources of like changing perspectives and changing stories, they're just going to stick to one character. And how do you get people in? Not only is Chloe Price in the game, but you get to play as Chloe Price, baby.
Technically, they have done switching characters. It just wasn't eventually emerged in the game. And this description reads of a moment that kind of like alludes to it. That was in the past.
We'll see, but like I'm gonna say that you're gonna be playing a majority of the time as Chloe Price. I'm telling
That's
you
really
right now.
I can't. You can't. You gotta be Max. They're gonna put it as Max. As you'll be majority Max, and then you'll be partially Chloe Price in certain moments, like that, for
Yeah.
example. And that's again, that's going to be in Katelyn University, and that's going to be in.
Call that. You know how you said like, oh, come up with like a bizarre theory about the game the last episode, and I gave you a safe answer. There's my bizarro answer. There you go. My bizarro answer is that you're going to be playing as Chloe Price the entirety of the game.
It'd be something. It'd be something.
Yes.
I can, based on that description, I think I know where that's going to take place as well in the game and where it's at.
Oh,
Because that's
yeah.
not in Katelyn University's main campus. That's going to be in a different place as well. Very much so.
I think I know.
You know what it's going to say. You know exactly where it's about to take. That sequence, I know exactly where it's about to play in that game. Like where it logically can fit in the game and where it's about to play.
Let's say it together. 3, 2,
No.
1. Chuck E. Cheese ball pit.
There you go.
What were you thinking? Yeah.
No. No, it's gonna be in a singular location. It's gonna be a single.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my god, I can see.
I just love the freak on your face. Like, no, don't make me say that.
I'm like tripping on mushrooms. Oh, I'm like, what's going on there?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. Actually, I'm gonna talk to you about that later. Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
So let's go on.
I think we both have the same mindset here.
So. As you can see there, flashbacks to Chloe. Again, like, for example, Adam, if you do the timelines merging, that sequence, Impossible Nightmares, if it hasn't happened, she's seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally, it links there. So you have there, for example, Haunted by Nightmares,
now.
Impossible Memories.
Chloe Price, main character.
There you go. There you go. So, Adam, let's go to the final part.
We return with Rihanna DeVries as you play as Chloe Price the entirety of the game.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Adam, last part, because we do it. The game offers players the opportunity to purchase in-game items.
Yay, we love it. Yay.
Will the cat content return? Will Miso Tell return in cat content part 2? Will that be the cat?
No, it's going to be drone contents. We're going to see a return of who's the drone operator in the first Life is Strange? Who has the crush from Warren? Yeah, Brooke. It's going to be a Brooke DLC.
That's what's going to set the inferno, isn't it? Brooke's fury from Warren's obsession with Max. It's going to be like that's how we set this off. But no, Brooke can't fly her drones. Yeah, she's got a drone from Amazon now. It's the high efficient versions. Like that's it. We break. They are going to. By the way, as well. I'm sorry as well. One thing I was to say. If you enjoy this game, great. Blah blah blah. They are going to annoy so many people with the things they change in this game. Like little things that in the mythology. Brace yourself, it's going to happen. Even with Chloe Price as well, they're going to do something with it. Even, do you remember the first double exposure? They messed up the line as well, where it's like, we're your partner in crime. And it's like, what?
Yeah,
like, oh my days. Right, Adam, last part. As you can see there,
Yes.
It has in the form of new outfits and digital deluxe upgrade, which some parents or carers may want to be aware of. Yeah, damn right. Parents and carers or other responsible adults should check to see what is being offered before making any purchase on behalf of the child. It should be noted that the game can still be played without the need to purchase such items. Fantastic. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Which is going to be the same as double exposure. Like, it's just going to be cosmetic outfits and
tons of them, all the stuff as well.
DLC. So it's like you can still play the game, but it's just cosmetics as usual.
Yeah, there are images in the game which may be scary to younger players, including scenes of dead bodies with no blood or injuries and human skeletons. Dun, dun, dun. Some sexual innuendos are found in the game. When the player goes to a party, another character tells them that someone didn't show up as their quote unquote girlfriend
Thought.
Yes, I've gone blind there as well. Give me dark screen, dark mode. Didn't show up as their quote unquote girlfriend. Thought this was an orgy. End quote. That's Aisha Farah, isn't it? That's the remnants. That's the remnants of the dual exposure original. Oh my god, that line is an example where cringe is. We've talked about this before many times. Cringe is good when it's done right. Cringe is endearing. Deck Nine's cringe. I've never got over Deck Nine's cringe. I think it's some of the worst writing on that possible. And also as well, because we played it, isn't the Expanse so much different compared to the writing and the way that they did that?
Yes.
Like how grounded it was and stuff. You genuinely sometimes I think if you played the Expanse, you wouldn't even realize it's Deck Nine. It's actually quite scary of how like grounded it is as a game compared to anything else Deck Nine has made.
Yeah.
But yeah,
There's
the
gravity boots.
yeah. And also as well, Adam, suicide is referenced in the game frequently, but no depictions are shown. Now, my theory there as well is that I think that's the Maya Okada stuff, because they'll keep Safi in the game.
Yeah.
Because you said there's no the pivot's going to be there, but it's like they're going to include Chloe Price into parts.
I'm going to tell you
Safi
this much. I'm giving you two crazy thoughts here. Not only are you going to be playing Chloe Price at least 80% of the game, Maya Okada, totally forgotten. Not even mentioned.
Oh, you fucking
not even.
Oh, that's
I
interesting.
reckon that Maya Okada did not matter at all in this story writing here. I think she's going to be forgotten in a way of just like, that's a plot hole where it's like, what about Maya Okada? Like, oh yeah, I don't know. Like, it's one of those things that like,
How do you explain that then? Because it says it's referenced in the game frequently, unless it's Kate Marsh you're saying, but you would say that she's dead though, which is like, I don't think that's going to work though.
They don't really talk about any certain character. They just say suicide is referenced. So it doesn't mean that it's Maya Okada. It just means that like Chloe Price has impossible thoughts and nightmares, thinks about suicide. We talk about Kate Marsh. We talk about like any other character. My other crazy theory is that Maya Okada doesn't matter. Okay, we're back. That Maya Okada does not matter in the story at all.
She won't matter much. I think there'll be mentions of her just by that, in the inkling where it's like reference. Like she won't be a big part of the story. It'll just be like, oh, I remember I had a friend called Maya Okada. Oh, Max, you're going to chair with Chloe and it's not with me.
Yeah,
I'm a Nepo
like,
baby.
That's what I mean, though. I'm just like, I don't think Maya's going to really make an impact in this game.
No.
Can I be honest, though? Like, Maya wasn't as impactful of a story character in Double Exposure as Rachel Amber was. Like, Rachel Amber was like, well, like, honestly, though, like Rachel Amber was just like, that was the whole story. Whereas, like, Maya was kind of like a catalyst for Safi. Right. It wasn't really like, oh, we're searching for like the answers for Maya. They were searching like, why is Safi acting like a little baby? Like that's the whole story. It's just like, why is Safi a little baby girl? You know, like what are we doing here? So
but I can easily see the scenes where it's like, Max and Chloe stand there and Safi's like, you chose her, I lost Maya and I had nothing. Yeah, mate, you can see this gameplay. I'm showing you this game as it's happening in real time. One question for you before we move into the final part. I know it's gone for a while, but it is what it is. So people say this, it might be cheap. Is this actually Chloe Price or is it Safi dressed up as Chloe Price?
Oh no, it's actually Chloe Price, 100%.
Yeah, I thought so. Do you know what? That would be cheap. That would be cheap if you did that.
I think that like the reason why Chloe is in this game is because so many people are like, but where's Chloe? I returned my game because no Chloe. And I'm not trying to say this, but like to them, it sounds like, where's Chloe? Where's Chloe? Where's Chloe? Where's Chloe? Square Enix heard you. And they said, please buy our game because look, Chloe's in the game. Do you like Chloe now? Do you like our games now, please? I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they have the balls to do that to the fans. I think they know that the Life is Strange franchise is on dicey ends. It's on ice, and that's the thing. Like, I don't think that Square Enix has the balls to do some of that to the fans. That's my reference.
I would do, wouldn't it? It's the kind of thing I would just.
That's what I mean. You have to have some serious guts to like do something like that. And like, if you tell it in a very well, like if again, like a Drew Karpyshyn. If you don't know who Drew Karpyshyn is, one of my favorite sci-fi writers of all time, of course. He wrote Knights of the Old Republic. He wrote many Star Wars books. Right. He is now currently writing Exodus. He wrote the Mass Effect series. So like he is a well-known sci-fi. Like he knows how to write crazy stories. So what I'm trying to say is that like, if you had like a really talented writer, you could do it. They're not going to pull that move on you.
No. Like you said, it would take a lot of going on to do something and you would annoy a lot of people with that. No. Yeah. I mean, take it as what you will for this. We will obviously keep you up to date and we'll follow things as it goes along. But yeah. I hope you
Well,
enjoy.
let's talk about this Xbox Developer Direct real quick.
Yeah,
Just
so
like
this is the final part because it kind of adds on to that piece, and I thought we'd just bring it in for the sake of it to kind of wrap up this thingy.
Yeah, just to like set people's expectations.
Yeah, because it kind of does set the expectations for things. So I'm just opening the page up because it somehow seemed to have closed. There you go. Yep. Why are you not opening? There you go. Apologies, guys. I'm still processing Reunion here. There we go. It's on the screen. There you go. For the people. We brought this in because obviously people started speculating where Reunion would come up and where it would be announced and stuff. There's an Xbox Direct, Developer Direct that's coming this month, and it says that there was a fourth secret game, but VGC has provided an update on that. So they put there as well with a correction. I don't know why it's so small. An earlier version of the story incorrectly stated that the unannounced game was in development at a third-party studio. However, VGC sources have since clarified that the fourth Developer Direct game is a first-party studio. We apologize for the error.
Of course.
So you don't actually have any major mention here of like a game that seems to suggest that it's going to be Square Enix. It wouldn't surprise me if Square Enix is here in some capacity or something, but
yeah, and that's things like for an Xbox director developer thing, and they're only going to announce 4 games in the state that Xbox is in. They're only going to be talking about, look what Xbox can do by our cloud console bullcrap. You know, like Xbox is not the same anymore.
Yeah.
They are just trying their best to stay afloat in the ocean that they are drowning themselves in actively. And it's just like, yeah, they're going to talk about Fable. They're going to talk about, thank God, dude, I cannot wait for Forza Horizon 6 on PlayStation 5. I can't wait for that. And of course, they're going to talk about the Game Freak game. The fourth game, I'm going to guess, is like Halo or like probably Gears of War E-Day. Probably like probably no, they haven't announced
a game.
Oh, unannounced. So I'm gonna say they're gonna bring back
indie studio.
But like, however, VGC clarified the fourth is a first party, right? Is that the sentence?
Oh yeah, sorry, that was the old thing. They said it's first party. Yeah, it's a first party studio title.
Yeah, so they're gonna bring back Blinks, the Time Cats. So they're gonna bring back Blinks, sure. Yeah, so there you go. January 22nd. If you're not really on Xbox, it's not gonna be Life is Strange.
Look, like honestly as well, now when this game comes out, the reunion, it's gonna be the bare minimum. It's gonna be the like Square Enix London is gone. They've destroyed that completely. That all like I still can't believe that's the right thing, but they've destroyed that. The Western Division is in tatters. Japan is taking control of all its IPs. Deck 9 is on the verge of like falling apart as we've covered for many, many months. Like it's game over at this point. We are going back to square one, not Square Enix, square one here. And it's basically we'll get the TV show if that even happens. That might even be a bit different if they don't put their hands on all over it. And the likelihood is afterwards you'll probably get a remake of the first Life is Strange because they're still like desperate to do something, or they just ice everything and put the IP on the shelf with it intention. It's not popular anymore.
By the way, if you're saying like, well, they wouldn't do that, may I put your eyes back on The Last of Us?
Yes.
They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't remake the game again. Can I introduce you to The Last of Us Part 2 remaster? What, 4 years later? When did Last of Us Part 2 remaster come out? Did it come out 2025? 2024?
I think so, yeah.
Like a mere 4 to 5 years after the game release. Like remaster. Let's go, baby.
The study of that studio falling apart will be watched. It's so tragic with Naughty Dog at the point. I used to love Naughty Dog. So the Last of Us Part 2 came out in 2020 on PlayStation 4. The remastered version came in 2024 for PlayStation 5. And then PC for 2025.
4 years later, they're like, we're going to remaster it, baby. And it's like, when has it ever happened, dude? Like, quite honestly, a remaster. Not a port, a remaster.
Of a PlayStation 4 game, late PlayStation 4 game as well. Like,
yeah. Great.
Maybe we remaster everything. We remaster everything.
Yeah.
Like it's just. I can't bother anymore. I'm sorry. Call me cynical or whatever.
So when the likelihood that they're gonna remaster Life is Strange 1 again, it's not out of the question. Like I'm not saying like it's going to happen, but it's not. It's also not. It's not out of the question.
Do you know why they do it as well? And it's because
Hmm.
people who are buying them as well and playing it as well. I was talking to Jace last night about this, and even we're talking about double exposure and stuff. I was like, I don't think it'd be even as well received as it is now if Hannah Tell wasn't voicing it. I think you hold on to nostalgia with that. Nostalgia is not a great thing to have, man. People are saying for bringing Max back and stuff. Man, how many times have they brought back characters and ruined them? Jesse Pinkman with El Camino, this character with that thing, even the Terminator, even characters that were iconic in the side of reprising roles. It's like, just leave it, man. Just leave it. Always end on a high note, man. Very few people end their things on a high note. Floyd Mayweather leaves boxing undefeated, right? You know, this person did Jordan leave on the high note in basketball? No, he went to the Washington Wizards and had a massively unforgettable spell. LeBron James continues. Leave when you're on top. They can't stop doing it. Very few people have that peak perfect ending. Max had a peak perfect ending in the first one. What's that?
Like, why can't you just? Oh, let's talk about billionaires. Why can't you just stop at that point? You
Want
know,
more
you
money,
have,
man. That's
yeah,
why.
exactly. That's exactly why they don't go out on top. They want more money.
I'm going to call you out. This goes back to my conversation, that 1 hour long episode we had the podcast, which was never surfaced. I said to you, where you're like, if I was going to have something, I'd just disappear. I was like, no, because you get bored. Someone says, always something says someone like with controversial views, because why not? And it's like, they can't stop. People cannot stop from saying something.
I think it's a certain like mindset. There's some people that just kind of like go off the rails. Look at Riley Hawk. So Tony Hawk's son Riley, marries Kurt Cobain's daughter. And now they just live off the grid. They have their coffee shops and they're just like, I don't care. I want to be left alone because you're Tony Hawk's son and Kurt Cobain's daughter. You want to be left alone. But Tony Hawk is still like doing his thing. He's still like skating around. He's still making coffee shops in airports in San Diego. Yeah. Like they just need to stay relevant. So it's just a matter of like what your mindset is. Even look at Rodney Mullen, another skater. Rodney is kind of like doing his own thing. He is the godfather of street skating, and he is just like doing his thing. He's just like I don't even know if Rodney Mullen's still alive. Like that's how like off the grid he is. So it's a matter of mindset. That's all.
It's the same with this. They milk Max because they were like, oh yeah, it's an opportunity. Everyone's remaking stuff, and they went for it. They do it with everything, man. That's why it's just like not sacred anything to have anything anymore. It's like with like Bloom Rage, you're like, oh, actually, that might be something I can hold something special now because it came from an indie studio and it's going to stay there as it is. They don't make another one.
Rodney Mullen's still alive. Just to confirm, Rodney Mullen is still alive. 59 years old. God dang.
There you go. Well, either way, I hope you enjoyed our deep dive. I hope it was helpful. If it wasn't, then screw you. No, I'm joking. Yeah. No, I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah. There were a couple of moments in the last episode where I was like, enjoy 2026. There's gonna be a lot of things to come.
Yeah.
When do you think it'll come, Ashlyn, Adam, before we wrap up?
This year.
Do you know what? The most Square Enix thing is that they put it out on GTA's release day. That'd be the most Square Enix thing ever.
It's going to come out this year. I think so. I think it's going to come out in December of this year.
Oh, you reckon so? It's going to go to another winter release?
No,
see, the last game was winterishy, and they did that, but like they're burning the town down now. They're burning the campus down. Summer blazes.
I have a hard feeling you're going to see this game in Summer Game Fest, and then you're going to see it in December. That's not like my strong, like, oh yeah, I'm betting my life on it. It's more of like, I get the feeling that they just are rushing this game out. They're just like, just get it out the door. Like, just release it. We don't really care. There's not going to be marketing for it. You're going to see a SGF release this year.
Yeah. See, I think they might get it out earlier this year because Grand Theft Auto is coming up in other games. So I think that they might announce it April, March time, like they did with True Colors.
I would think that if I thought that they cared about this game, Square, I'm talking about. I don't think Square Enix cares about this game. Yeah.
No, it's going to be lowball. It's going to be the most lowball effort you've ever seen.
That's what I mean. There's not going to be marketing. They're going to put it into the Grand Theft Auto season. they don't care. They do
Yeah,
not care.
because they're not going to do a New York Comic Con panel. It's like Hannah Tellen. It's like, oh, and here's the director, Jonathan Zimmerman. It's just an empty chair, and you're like, and here's Iris Dartman, the writer. Oh, that's an empty chair.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't do the same effort. They're not going to do.
Yeah.
They're not going to do the double exposure. John Stauder and Felice Kwan sitting there. And do you remember when John Stauder swapped his shirt? And that is so funny because they recorded on separate days. He just like swaps his shirt in between. I'm like, is that double exposure that happening in real time? Like he's just changing. Yeah, it's going to be the most lowball effort. See, it has to come out before obviously the Grand Theft Auto storm that people are expecting as well. Like they're all wary of that thing. Like not that this would ever compete with Grand Theft Auto. We should just put that out there.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't surprise me if it's in one of those like digital showcases in June or something, and they try and put it out for like a September release. Like even your scale where you said Summer Games Fest, pull it back a little bit ahead of one of those other showcases, like the Xbox showcase.
It could easily come out in September. I'm just saying, like they might put in December, just because. I don't know. I just have a feeling about December. I'm not saying that like I'm so confident about December. It could come out September. I'm like, yeah, sure. But like my gut feeling, December 10th.
Yeah,
that's my gut feeling. Which is, let me see what day of the week December 10th is. December 10th is a Thursday.
Ooh.
So it could come out December 10th, December 11th. Yeah, I'm thinking like right in the middle of December. I think that is my gut feeling. So,
oh dear,
I definitely think you're going to see this game this year. And I think it's going to be like coming out September or October. You know, like I think that's what's going to be the case. You know,
I wanted Reunion, but in the Final Fantasy form, not this one. Like I was hoping Sephiroth would turn back up, not freaking what's it called, Max and Glenn. I was like, oh my god. Do you know what? Like, if you like, as I said, go with it, but I'm sorry. I think the problem is as well, you'll see a lot of love from the Deck 9 team to make this game, like passion to be trying to get something out, but in the state that it's in, I just don't think it's going to happen. Like, there's too much there. You saw it with Double Exposure. Like, people saw the state that game came out in and what happened. It was an enjoyable game for some people, but it's still a minority of the fan base compared to the majority. You ever go on any bigger platform where most people talk about it, it's just not like that much. It has a very small minority of fan base, and that is reflective of the sale. It's significantly underperformed on sales expectations. Like, even the president was there, Square Enix, Kiryu was like, yeah, they ain't doing that well. And it's like, well, yeah, I'm surprised you don't want to mention it, Kiryu. Like, you know, come on, man. Yeah, I think it's detrimental. I think, you know, or even with rolling the game out as well, like they've obviously recorded all the content and stuff, like the PR stuff. Like, they'll just put it out as it is. Like, it's just going to be low ball effort, and you're just going to play it. And it's also tragic as well, because think about it as well, you're playing a game which has no director that's even there anymore, or like the writer or whatever's happened because of all the stuff that's happened. Tragic. Anyway, we'll wrap up there. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Let us know what you think about Life is Strange Reunion. I'm sure there'll be some interesting things in there. I look forward to seeing the comments. I'm sure someone's going to call someone an idiot. I hope it's you, not me. But yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoy. Like, just keep it civilized. You don't, I mean, like, as I said, like, mine just feelings, my feelings, whatever. But anyway.
I mean, you can call me an idiot. I really don't care. It's just like, I'm just saying what I think about this game. And you can say what you think about this game. I just don't care. I don't think Square Enix cares. You know?
Of course they don't. Of course it's the most lowball effort, like, thing that's there. And it's just like, come on, man. Anyway, we'll wrap up there, though. Yes, feel free to leave us your comments. We'll pick out the best one, put it in the next episode. Hopefully, you get this episode sooner than expected. I'm going to try and turn it over as soon as I can. But yeah, thank you for joining us. A big shout out to our Patreon subscribers before we go. To our Patreon subscribers, we got none other than Kevin Lackner, Sunday, Clare McLoughlin, Jake, Carly, Goldberry, Kevin Kestis, Clarx, MrAnselmi, Spunger, Lost Fan, Paul Groschke, Xavier, Ashlyn, and Katelyn. So thank you so much for the support on Patreon. That incentive will come soon, very soon. Apologies, it's just because it's been that, and we're still working on it anyway, but we will put it in. There will be another incentive for you guys to have, and we'll add it onto this podcast, which you'll get in the first part, but we'll kind of explain that in the next episode. But yeah, hope you enjoy this episode. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Before you go as well, one more time, please do consider dropping subscribe on the channel, turn notifications, like the video, and share your friends. We're almost 2,200 subscribers, so you can help us get that. That would be amazing. And StrangeCast is available on all podcast services, so check us out on Spotify with a video version, Apple Podcasts. Go and check us out there. Go and rate us, go and download us, and go and check us out there. Thank you for joining us. We will be back. Reunion for Side B. That's what will happen. Me and Adam will reunite in Side B. So yeah, Enjoy this episode. Take care. See you later, guys. Bye.
Later.
Ready for the mosh pit, shaka bra.